صلوات. مولا علی کی شان میں ایک مختصر سی ربائی پیش کر رہا ہوں. جہاں میں ثانی قرآن کوئی کتاب نہیں، جہاں میں ثانی قرآن کوئی کتاب نہیں، جہاں میں ثانی قرآن کوئی کتاب نہیں. علی بھی ایک ہے، ان کا کوئی جواب نہیں، علی بھی ایک ہے، ان کا کوئی جواب نہیں. اور لحد میں پھیل گیا بت رب کا چرچا، لحد میں پھیل گیا بت رب کا چرچا. ارے خدا کا شکر ہے مٹی میری خراب نہیں، خدا کا شکر ہے مٹی میری خراب نہیں. جہاں میں ثانی قرآن کوئی مثال نہیں. مل گئی مجھ کو خدائی یا علی کہنے کے بعد، مل گئی مجھ کو خدائی یا علی کہنے کے بعد، مل گئی مجھ کو خدائی یا علی کہنے کے بعد، مل گئی مجھ کو خدائی یا علی کہنے کے بعد. ہاں یہی ہوتا ہے بھائی یا علی کہنے کے بعد. حیدری ہاں یہی ہوتا ہے بھائی یا علی کہنے کے بعد. جام کوثر لے لیا فردوس میں گھر لے لیا، جام کوثر لے لیا پھر فردوس میں گھر لے لیا، ہاں اس قدر دولت کمائی، یا علی کہنے کی بات، اس قدر دولت کمائی، یا علی کہنے کی بات۔ میں نے پوچھا کامیابی کی سند ملتی ہے کہاں؟ میں نے پوچھا کامیابی کی سند ملتی ہے کہاں؟ ہاں عرش سے آواز آئی، یا علی کہنے کے بعد، ہاں یہی ہوتا ہے بھائی، یا علی کہنے کے بعد۔ صلوات اس وقت جب کہ زینب دربار میں گئی تھی، قاضی نمازیوں سے محفل سجی ہوئی تھی، ظالم یہ پوچھتا تھا غازی تیرا کہاں ہے؟ غربالوں سے منہ چھپائے زینب یہ کہہ رہی تھی، ہے میرے بابا جان ہو رہی ہے اذان، سر چھپاؤں کہاں؟ ہے میرے بابا جان ہو رہی ہے اذان، سر چھپاؤں کہاں؟ مجمع عام میں بے وطن بردا مر گیا راتوا، ہے میرے بابا جان ہو رہی ہے اذان، سر چھپاؤں کہاں؟ میں بھی ہوں مرضیہ بنت خیر النساء، میرے لہجے میں ہے بابا تیری اذان، نام زینب میرا تو نے جو رکھ دیا، دے دی اپنی زبان، ہے میرے بابا جان ہو رہی ہے اذان ہو رہی ہے اذان سر چھپا ہوں کا ہاں سوال آواز بلند نعرہ صلوات ایک آخری کلام مختصر سا کر رہا ہوں بآواز بلند صلوات قاسم اٹھا رہے ہیں جعفر کا جنازہ قاسم اٹھا رہے ہیں جعفر کا جنازہ ہائے حسین کہہ کر آنسو بہا رہے ہیں کاظم اٹھا رہے ہیں جعفر کا جنازہ کاظم اٹھا رہے ہیں جعفر کا جنازہ تابوت کو اٹھا کر جتنے قدم بڑھائے ہر ایک قدم پہ ان کو سجاد یاد آئے عابد کی بے بسی کا نوحہ سنا رہے ہیں کاظم اٹھا رہے ہیں جعفر کا جنازہ مسرون نے غذا میں زہر جفا دیا تھا مظلوم نے جفا میں زہر جفا دیا تھا مظلوم کے بدن پر جس کا اثر ہوا تھا افلاک سے مصائب پرسے کو آ رہے ہیں کاظم اٹھا رہے ہیں جعفر کا جنازہ بآواز بلند نعرہ صلوات آواز بلند نعرہ صلوات
نعرہ صلوات اللہم صلی علی محمد وعلی محمد Mu'mineen, please recite Surah Fatiha for Marhum Abbas Muhammad Taqi Mauladina, sadly passed away in Vancouver last week. Marhuma Fatmabai Honorary Lalji, passed away in London this month. Marhum Munawwar Yusuf Ali Karmali, passed away and buried in London today. Marhuma Fatmabai Hasham, whose 14th birthday it is today. Marhum Rizwan Muhammad Abbas, 40 it is today. Marhum Yusuf Ali Lalji, whose birthday it is today. Marhum Fazil Virani, Marhum Sayyid Asad Raza, Marhum Muhammad Raza Lakha, Marhum Khushru Ghulam Ali Fazil, Marhum Sultan Ali Nasr Lakha, Marhum Hussain Habib Nasr Lakha, Marhum Muhammad Taqi Pirbai, Marhuma Razia Bai Pirbai, Marhuma Sugra Bai Samani, Marhuma Sher Banu Datu, Marhuma Sayyida Bai Datu, Marhum Shirin Bai Sumar, Marhuma Leila Bai Virani, Marhum Ramzan Virani, Marhum Ramzan Danji, Marhum Roshan Ali Datu, Marhum Akbar Ali Bachu Sumar, Marhum Hassan Ali Somani, Marhum Akbar Jamal, Marhum Roshan Ali Datu, Marhum Jainabai Sulaiman Ismail, Marhum Fatmabai Jamal, Marhum Ghulam Abbas Ramzan Ali Hansraj, passed away 29th of May, Marhum Ramzan Ali Hansraj, Marhum Sherbanu Hansraj, Marhum Haji Rajbali Sal Muhammad, whose birth it is today, Marhum Akbar Ali Rajbali Sal Muhammad, Marhum Roshan Ali Ghulam Hussain Pir Muhammad, Marhum Hussain Danji, Marhum Fatmabai Rajbali Sal Muhammad, Marhum Zegam Danji, Marhum Roshan Banu Rajbali Sal Muhammad, Marhum Sajad Rajbali Alidina, Marhum Sakina Muhammad, Marhum Nabiswa Alidina, Marhum Ashukya Barsi, Marhum Latifa Barsi, Marhum Ghulam Abbas Jagani, Marhum Muhammad Ayat Khanji, Marhum Habib Wamji, Marhum Mustafa Mawji, Marhum Yusuf Sal Muhammad family, Marhum Muhammad Ali, Haji Ali family, Marhum Muhammad Ali Khattab Khawar family, Marhum Ahmad Hassan family, Marhum A.M. Jaffer family, and all the Marhum Surat al-Fatih. Our next program for Bustan-e-Zahra is now on Wednesday, 14th of June. It's a Wiladat of Imam Rida alayhi salam and Bibi Masumakum salamun alayha. Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin wa alayhi Muhammad. We start at 8 p.m. with the Hadith Qissa, followed by Qasida, the lecture. And now namaz is going to be at 9:31 Salah. And our Maulana will do a supersonic namaz, will finish at 9:45. 9:45, inshallah, graceful niyaz will be served in honor of the two holy souls. So niyaz will be at about 9:45 after the supersonic namaz at 9:31. We'll give you the further details as time passes on. Let us now today, Mu'minin, just welcome our Maulana Barsi Ismail with a huge Nare Salawat, Nare Salawat. Allah.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. Alhamdulillahi rabbil alameen. Wassalatu wassalamu ala ashrafil anbiya'i wal mursaleen. Khatamin nabiyyin, shafi'il mudhnibin, rahmatan lil alameen. Maulana wa sayyidina Abil Qasim Muhammad. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala وعلى آله الطيبين الطاهرين لا سيما بقية الله في الأرض أرواحنا له الفداء وعجل الله تعالى فرجه الشريف ولعنة الله على أعدائهم أجمعين من الآن إلى قيام يوم الدين. أما بعد، فقد قال الله سبحانه وتعالى في قرآنه المجيد: بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم وما تشاءون إلا أن يشاء الله Rabbul Alameen. For the happiness of the souls, for the purification of the atmosphere, for the hastening of the reappearance of the 12th Imam, let's have a loud salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Mu'mineen, Azizan, tonight we are commemorating, of course, the Shahadat of our beloved sixth Imam. We give our condolences to the Imam of our time, to all the Mu'mineen, to all the ulama. The Shahadat of the sixth Imam is one of the most painful Shahadats. The sixth Imam, when you think about his life, there's one thing which outstands more than anything else. And in all of the Imams' lives, it's like this. Whenever you think of any Imam, they have some outstanding characteristics which shone in their own time. For sixth Imam's time, what we can say is that he is very much synonymous with the quality of ilm and knowledge. There's a number of reasons behind this. Number one, relatively speaking, the sixth Imam was able to have a little bit more freedom during his time to teach and propagate the principles of Islam. The rulers at that time were busy with gaining power and fighting one another. This gave Imam some opportunity. So relatively speaking, Imam had the opportunity to teach more people and impart more knowledge and teachings. This is why in our books of ahadith, there are more ahadith from the sixth Imam by far than any other Imam. Secondly, is that very crucially, and I'm coming on to this point, this is my main point for the evening. There is a very big similarity between the time we are in now and Imam's time. That similarity is as follows. During Imam's time, it was the time when all sorts of aqaidi problems were there in the society. There were offshoots of Islam. There were different imaginations about Islam. There were different thoughts about Islam. Many sects were coming. Many sects were being formed. Society was branching off into different areas during the time of our sixth Imam. It was like a marketplace of Aqidah. Different things, different opinions, different scholars saying different things. So it is no fluke that during the time of our sixth Imam, you see many of these new sects gaining ground, starting even, because this was the time in which there was this relative kind of freedom and there were all of these things springing up, and Imam had to fight against this. Through his teachings, through his lectures, through his students, through his declarations and statements, Imam was very actively trying to combat against this. And I'm telling you one thing, Mu'mineen, you may agree, you may disagree, I'm telling you one thing, today we are in this same situation right now, with one big difference. In that time, there were different sects. In this time, the challenges we face are from within our own sect. This is the thing. This is what really hurts us sometimes. At that time, people were identifying as different things. They were saying, I'm Sunni, I have this opinion. Someone would say, I'm Hanafi, I have this opinion. Someone would say, I'm Zaydi, I have this opinion. This day, this time, our society, our current time, you hear one person saying, I'm Shia Ithna Ashari, I have a different opinion. Another person will say, I'm Shia Ithna Ashari, I have a different opinion. The aqaidi problems which you are going through right now are tremendous. The way the youths are being confused right now, not only youths, everyone, is really a big problem. There are different reasons for this. I don't want to go into these reasons. I don't want to offend anyone. I don't want to say anything that may hurt anyone. But we have to look into this with a lot of seriousness to try and establish the proper Shia Aqidah, the proper Shia belief. What is it we actually believe as Ithna Ashari Shias? What is our belief on the Quran? How do we interpret the Quran? What is our belief on Hadith? What is our belief on Imams? What is our belief on Imamology? Imamology means, what do we believe that the Imams were? Some people will tell you, for example, your Imams were nothing more than learned scholars. They were good scholars, they were good people, we respect them, but they were scholars. Really, is that what it is? Was Amirul Mu'minin, for example, just a good scholar? Was Imam Hassan a good scholar? Was Imam Sadiq alayhi salam a good scholar? Is this what they were? Or was it something else? During the time of Imam Sadiq alayhi salam, what he did was he established one truth. The truth that he established is that whether you like it or not, every single Muslim in the world, on the face of this earth, is indebted to Imam Sadiq one way or the other. Whether you are Shia, whether you are Sunni, it doesn't matter. You are indebted to Imam Sadiq. Why? If you are Shia, then life is very easy for us. Because, you see, in the Shia school of thought, compared with the Sunni school of thought, if you go to a Sunni and you say, brother, tell me, who is your authority in Quran? He'll give you a name. He may say, for example, Fakhruddin Razi. He may say, for example, Zamakhshari or other Mufassirin, Jalaluddin Suyuti. You ask him, brother, who is your authority in akhlaq? He may say another name. He may say, for example, Al-Ghazali. In philosophy, who do you follow? He'll say another name. In Irfan, who do you follow? He'll say another name. In Hadith, who's your scholar? He'll say another name. You give him 10 different subjects, you'll get 10 different names. But you put a Shia there, you ask him the same question. You say, brother, who's your authority in fiqh? He'll say, Jaffer Sadiq. Who's your authority in Quran? He'll say, Jaffer Sadiq. What about Hadith? Who do you follow? Jaffer Sadiq. What about in akhlaq? Jaffer Sadiq. What about in Irfan? Jaffer Sadiq. What about all the other branches of religion? Who do you follow in all of these subjects? Jaffer Sadiq. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad. So life for us is relatively easy. We don't have to look around. We don't have to go to different places to get our sources of information. We have one source of information, Imams. They have one source of information, Rasulullah. He has one source of information, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Very simple, but we've made it very complicated, unfortunately. We have made things very complicated for ourselves. Whether you like it or not, on the face of this planet, every person on the face of this earth is indebted to Imam Sadiq. Because either they follow Ja'fari school of thought like us, or they follow one of the four Sunni schools. And if you follow one of the four Sunni schools, then each of the Sunni school leaders, whether it's Abu Hanifa, Malik, Shafi'i or Hanbali, whatever it is, either they were direct students of Imam Sadiq or they were indirect students of Imam Sadiq. Abu Hanifa, Imam Sadiq. Malik, Imam Sadiq. Shafi'i, a student of Malik. Ahmad ibn Hanbal, student of Shafi'i. Whether you like it or not, somehow everyone is indebted to our Imam, Imam Jaffer Sadiq, alayhi salatu wassalam. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad. So what was this knowledge of the Imams? What kind of knowledge did they have? There are two types of knowledge. There are two types of scholar, rather, I should say. One is the scholar who goes to the source and learns from them, and he then repeats what they say, or he learns from them and he puts it into his own words. And one is the scholar who doesn't learn from anybody. He's not needing a teacher. He doesn't need to go to school or university. He doesn't need to be taught anything. These are the scholars of Ahlul Bayt. These are the Imams of Ahlul Bayt, that they don't need to learn from anybody. They never went to school. They never had a teacher. They never had any instructor. Their knowledge is God-given. Now, their knowledge is of, you can say, different types. One is the general level of knowledge which they have, and one is a very special level of knowledge which is called ilmul ghaib. Knowledge of the unseen, hidden knowledge, things that no one else can know unless you have that special connection with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. If you have that special connection with Allah, then you are accessing ilmul ghaib, the knowledge of the unseen. Why? Because in Allah's knowledge there's nothing hidden. Allah knows everything. Allah's knowledge is not confined to space. It doesn't matter whether it's London, Karachi, Mumbai, China, North Pole, Brazil, it doesn't matter. Allah knows everything what's happening everywhere. Nor is it confined to any time, whether it's now or before or to come. Past, present or future, it doesn't make a difference to Allah. He knows everything. If you are connected with Allah in a special way, this is our belief. If you are connected with Allah in a special way like the Imams were, then you can access the knowledge of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Therefore, you can predict this is going to happen in the future. This will happen tomorrow. This will happen next year. This happened in the past. This is happening right now. These are all things that our Imams were blessed with. So the way Allah's knowledge is completely comprehensive, completely knowing every single thing, what we will say about the Imams is that their knowledge is linked to the knowledge of Allah. Imam's knowledge is linked to the knowledge of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Now, there are a few issues here which I want to answer. I hope that's given you a good introduction to what we're going to discuss. Now we look at the issues and how we answer the issues. This is one of the things I was referring to, that there are different beliefs today. Some people are completely in denial. They say, Imams, forget it, they don't have ilmul ghaib. Ilmul ghaib and Imam doesn't go together. No human can have ilmul ghaib. This ilmul ghaib is something that you guys have made up. This is something that you have concocted to give your Imam some extra special status and position. Is it the case? Really, we've concocted these things? We've made this up? Let's answer this all from the Holy Quran with a loud salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Those people who deny the knowledge of the Imams, they deny that the Imam has any hidden knowledge, they say the following. They say, look, Quran itself denies that Imam have knowledge. Quran itself denies that your Imams have knowledge. What are you talking about? Look at, for example, 659 in the Holy Quran. Allah says, وَإِنْدَهُ مَفَاتِحُ الْغَيْبِ. He has the treasures of the hidden and unseen. لَا يَعْلَمُهَا إِلَّا هُوَ. No one knows the hidden except Him. Very clear verse of the Holy Quran. Now, how do we deal with this? La ya'lamuha illa huwa. No one knows this except for Him. Wa ya'lamu ma fil barri wal bahr. He knows what's on the land and in the sea. Wa ma tasqatu min waraqatin illa ya'lamuha. There is not a leaf that falls from the tree except that He knows that it's fallen. Wa la habbatin fi dhulumatil ardh. Nor is there a single grain in the ground of the darkness of the earth, nor anything wet or dry, fresh or withered, except that He has knowledge of it and it's recorded in a manifest book. Ya Allah. So Allah is saying that no one has access to this knowledge. No one knows this except for Him. Another verse, 1061. وَمَا يَعْزَبُ عَنْ رَبِّكَ مِنْ مِثْقَالَ ذَرَّةٍ. Not an atom's weight escapes your Lord in the earth or in the sky, nor bigger than that, nor smaller than that, except for it is recorded in a book. So He has this knowledge. Where does He say that it's with the Imams? Where does He say that this knowledge is with other people? Now, how do we answer this, my dear mu'mineen and mu'minat? How do we answer this? Unfortunately, we are not versed in the Quran. This is one of our main problems today. We are not sufficiently versed in the Holy Quran. We answer it very simply. This is the first ishkal, awwal. First problem. Allah has knowledge and no one else. He says it Himself in the Holy Quran. Now how do you answer? Very easy. We answer as follows. We say, first of all, the Quran always gives general messages and then qualifies it with specific exceptions. Quran always gives general messages and then in another place it qualifies those general things with some exceptions. Does He accept this? Does He make an exception with knowledge? Allah says, Alimul ghaybi fala yudhiru ala ghaybihi ahadan. He is the knower of the unseen. He does not disclose the unseen to anyone. Illa man irtada min rasulin. Except to an apostle that He approves of. You see there's an exception? The first one was saying a general rule. Do you have ilm ghaib? Do I have ilm ghaib? Does the man on the street have ilm ghaib? No. Ilm-e-Ghaib is very, very rare. It is the property of Allah. He doesn't give it to anyone except a prophet of whom He approves. First exception. So there can be people with ilm-e-Ghaib. It is not just correct to say that He doesn't give it to anyone. It is not correct to say, وَلَا يَعْلَمُهَا إِلَّا هُ, that only He knows, and stop there. We have to look at the Quran in its entirety. He does give it to some people that He approves. Illa man irtada, someone who He is happy with from amongst the prophets. So there are exceptions. There are some special people that have access. Look at this verse, 3179. وَمَا كَانَ اللَّهُ لِيُطْلِعَكُمْ عَلَى الْغَيْبِ. We do not read the Quran fully and completely. If you stopped here, you'd be in big trouble. If you stop here, what is it saying? Allah will not acquaint you with the unseen. And then if you read further, you get your answer. وَلَكِنَّ اللَّهَ يَجْتَبِي مِنْ رُسُلِهِ مَنْ يَشَاءُ. But Allah chooses from His apostles whomever He wishes. You will not be given, but He can choose some people to give to. Generally, human beings are not given, but He can have some exceptions. Everyday person will not be given, but His special ones can be given. So this is the first ishkal that we have answered. Now, ishkal-e dovum, second issue. So are you saying, you Shias, you believe in your Imam so much? So you're saying they have access to Allah's knowledge? We'll say yes, they have access to Allah's knowledge. In that case, it is the same. Are you saying that Allah's knowledge and Imam's knowledge is the same? Second ishkal. If you Shias, you say whatever Allah knows they have access to, then you have made them on par with Allah. This is shirk. How do we answer this? Very simple. Who has given them access? Allah. Where is the source of knowledge? Allah. Are they dependent or independent of Allah? They are dependent on Allah. They are not independent. This is the big difference. Whether we say they can access Allah's knowledge or not, we first have to establish that Allah is the source. They are not the source. Allah is independent. They are dependent. Allah chooses to give. Third way of answering this ishkal-e dovum. Can you imagine Allah without His knowledge? Can Allah be Allah without His knowledge? Let's say He has 99 attributes. We take away one, we take away knowledge. We take away the knowledge of Allah. Can Allah still be Allah? No. Allah, everything that we know about Him is essential to Him. He cannot exist, He cannot be what He is without that. Imams and prophets, they are human beings. If they didn't have this knowledge, would they still be human beings? Yes. So it is essential for Allah, but for them it is not essential in terms of their being a human being. So that is ishkal-e dovum. Ishkal-e sevum, very interesting. This is a very interesting one. Let's have a loud salawat ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. They say, Khoob Agha, you are saying that Imams know everything. We say yes. You are saying Imams know the unseen? Yes. Then how come sometimes when a person used to come in front of one of our Imams, they used to ask him, Salaam alaikum brother, who are you? What's your name? How come they didn't know his name? They used to ask, for example, where are you from? Why didn't they know where he's from? Sometimes they would look for things. They would actually say, let's look for something. I've lost this. Let's go and look for it. If they knew the unseen, why didn't they know these things? They should know that this man's name is Ali, for example. He's from Iraq, for example, and their lost item is in such and such a place. Now, how do we answer this? This is the most beautiful answer of the three ishkals. This is the most beautiful answer. We say the following. We say the knowledge of the Imam. And when he accesses that knowledge, is based on the will of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Think about this. The knowledge of the Imam. And when he accesses that knowledge is based on the will of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Like we've said, they are not independent, they are dependent. Sometimes they are warranted to seek the knowledge of Allah. Sometimes they are not warranted to seek the hidden knowledge of Allah. One example I'll give you. In the life of our blessed messenger Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wa sallam. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad. The Holy Prophet came out with his companions and a group of people. They were getting ready to travel somewhere. The Holy Prophet says, let us go, let us start mounting on our animals, our camels, our horses, and we start to move. Everyone began mounting on their horse and their camel. All of a sudden, the Prophet's camel is not there. The Prophet said, my camel is not here, help me look for it. Some of the munafiqeen of the time, they started to make fun. They said, this man, he claims he's a prophet, he claims he's linked to Allah, he claims he's linked to the angels, he receives revelation, he doesn't know where his camel is. When the Holy Prophet heard this, he said, hold on, let me tell you. My camel is in such and such a place, which is a few miles away. It is stranded there. The reins of my camel have been caught on a branch of a tree. Go there, you will find it. They went there, they found the camel exactly in the place that the Prophet had said, exactly in the situation the Prophet had said. Its reins had been caught upon the branches of a tree. Why didn't he say that in the beginning? Because it wasn't in the will of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for him to know in the beginning. When the challenge came upon his prophethood, when people tried to make fun, when people brought doubts, when it was time for him to use the hidden knowledge according to the will of Allah, then he used it. Otherwise, let me tell you something. How would they ever be able to live in this world if they were always accessing all their hidden powers all the time? A quick question for you. Rasulullah, did he use his finger to split the moon or not? We believe. Correct? Rasulullah, with the ishara of his finger, he split the moon. So then in Jang-e Badr, Jang-e Uhud and all of these places, why didn't he use his finger to split the earth and everyone falls inside? Baba, he has to use normal methods when Allah needs him to use normal methods. And he will use extraordinary methods when Allah needs him and wants him to use extraordinary methods. People say this, this really makes me furious. This is my last point before we move on to Masaib. Time has gone very quickly. People say Amirul Mu'mineen lifted the door of Khaybar. But when they put the rope around his neck, he didn't use his power. Do you understand the will of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? There he needed to do that. Allah wanted him to do it. Here it was better for him to have sabr. Allah didn't want him to do it. There's no question on the power of Amirul Mu'mineen. Be mature. Be sophisticated in what you're saying. Amirul Mu'mineen is powerful, no doubt. But when his Lord wants him to have sabr, he will have sabr. Imam Hussain alayhi salam, when his Lord wanted him to have sabr, he had sabr. Therefore, what does he say? In the sajda of Shahadat, Ridhan biqada'ihi wa tasliman li amri. Bari ilaha khudaya, whatever you want from me, I'm ready. You want me to have sabr now? I have sabr. You want me to do taslim now? I do taslim. This is the answer of these ishkalat. These are not serious ishkalat. These are easily answered. Our youths are being led all around the shop. They are being led all around the place in these silly ishkalat which are coming. If we have strong, mazboot, muhkam aqidah, this will not happen. Azizan-e Muhtaram, Azadaran of Imam Hussain. Just a few minutes of Masaib and then we finish. Imam Sadiq alayhi salam is at the end of his life. He has been poisoned by the Khalifa Mansur. At the end of his life, he gathers around his friends, his close family members, his children, and he starts to give his wasiyah. As he's giving his wasiyah, Imam Kazim alayhi salam, his son, comes and puts his head on the chest of Imam Jaffer Sadiq. Imam Kazim begins to cry. Imam Sadiq alayhi salam says, "My son, why do you cry so much?" He says, "Baba, I cry because I can see my grandmother Zahra is also here and she is crying. Because she is crying, I am crying." Imam Sadiq alayhi salam was going towards the end of his life. He says to them, "Turn my face." They say, "Mawla, where should we turn your face?" He says, "Turn my face towards Karbala. Let me look towards Karbala one more time and give a salutation to my grandfather, Abu Abdullah." We will say, "Oh Imam Sadiq alayhi salam, you had your son with you, you had your beloved ones with you. We now turn our hearts towards Karbala. We will remember the Shahadat of your grandfather. You had your sons to bury you. What did Imam Hussain have? He had his one sister coming past. When she fell upon his body, she could not give kafan, she could not give dafan. She merely had one thing to say, Allahumma taqabbal hadha al-qurban. Oh Allah, accept this sacrifice from us. Allah lanatullahi al-qawmi al-zalimeen, matam Hussain.
Ya Hussain, Ya Hussain, Ya.
Hai Jaffer Sadiq, hai Jaffer Sadiq, hai Jaffer Sadiq, hai Jaffer Sadiq. काज़िम उठा रहे हैं जाफर का जनाजा, काज़िम उठा रहे हैं जाफर का जनाजा। हाय हुसैन कहकर आंसू बहा रहे हैं, काज़िम उठा रहे हैं जाफर का जनाजा। ताबूत को उठाकर जितने कदम बढ़ाए, हर एक कदम पे उनको सज्जाद याद आए। आबिद की बेबसी का नौहा सुना रहे हैं, काज़िम उठा रहे हैं जाफर का जनाजा। मज़लूम ने ग़िज़ा में ज़हरे जफ़ा दिया था, मंजूर ने ग़िज़ा में ज़हरे जफ़ा दिया था। मज़लूम के بدن پر جس کا اثر ہوا تھا افلاک سے ملائک پرسے کو آ رہے ہیں کاظم اٹھا رہے ہیں جعفر کا جنازہ کاظم اٹھا رہے ہیں جعفر کا جنازہ یا حسین 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 گزری جو قتل گاہ سے زینب جگر فگار آنکھیں لہو لہو تھی بدن پر غموں کا وار لاشوں کو دیکھ دیکھ کے کہتی تھی زار زار کہتی تھی کہ جلد آئیے یا شاہ ذوالفقار کیسے بتاؤں کیا میری دل پر گزر گئی ہر لاشیں پہ بے کفن کے جو میں ننگی سر گئی ہائے بابا غربت میں قتل ہو گیا مظلوم بے وطن میں بھائی بھائی کہتی تھی لاشاں بہن بہن میں بھائی بھائی کہتی تھی لاشاں بہن بہن میں بھائی بھائی کہتی تھی لاشاں بہن بہن
محمد والے محمد بلندتر صلوات
إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمد رسول الله أشهد أن محمد رسول الله أشهد أشهد أن عليا ولي الله. أشهد أن عليا حجة الله. حي على الصلاة. حي على السلام. حي على الفلاح. حي على الفلاح. حي على خير العمل. حي على خير العمل. الله أكبر الله أكبر. لا إله إلا الله. لا إله إلا الله. إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما. وانحر إن شانئك هو الأبتر. سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان رب العظيم وبحمده. سمع الله لمن حمده. الله سبحان ربي الأعلى وبحمد ربي صلى على محمد وآل محمد. سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان ربي الأعلى وبحمده. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين. إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين. اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. إنا أنزلناه في ليلة القدر وما أدراك ما ليلة القدر. ليلة القدر خير من 1000 شهر. تنزل الملائكة والروح فيها بإذن ربهم من كل أمر. سلام هي حتى مطلع الفجر. الله أكبر. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. ربنا لا تزغ قلوبنا بعد إذ هديتنا وهب لنا من لدنك رحمة إنك أنت الوهاب. الله. سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان ربي العظيم وبحمد. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. سبحان ربي الأعلى وبحمد ربي صلى على محمد وآل محمد. الله أكبر. استغفر الله ربي وأتوب إليه. الله أكبر. سبحان ربي الأعلى وبحمد. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. الله أكبر. الحمد لله. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدًا عبده ورسوله. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد بحول الله وقوته. الله أكبر. سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان ربي العظيم وبحمد. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. سبحان ربي الأعلى وبحمد. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. الله أكبر. استغفر الله ربي وأتوب إليه. الله أكبر. سبحان ربي الأعلى وبحمده. سبحان ربي الأعلى وبحمده. سبحان ربي الأعلى وبحمده. رب صل على محمد وآل محمد وعجل فرجهم. الله أكبر. الحمد لله. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. السلام عليك أيها النبي ورحمة الله وبركاته. السلام علينا وعلى عباد الله الصالحين. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله. أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله. أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله. أشهد أن أمير المؤمنين وإمام المتقين عليا ولي الله. اللهم صل. أشهد أن عليا حجة الله. اللهم صل على حي على الصلاة. حي على الصلاة. حي على الفلاح. حي على الفلاح. حي على خير العمل. حي على خير العمل. قد قامت الصلاة. قد قامت الصلاة. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. لا إله إلا الله. الله أكبر. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين. إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين. اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. تبت يدا أبي لهب وتب ما أغنى عنه ماله وما كسب سيصلى نارا ذات لهب وامرأته حمالة الحطب في جيدها حبل من مسد. الله. سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان ربي العظيم وبحمد. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. سبحان ربي الأعلى وبحمد. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. الله أكبر. استغفر الله ربي وأتوب إليه. الله أكبر.
سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان ربي الأعلى وبحمده. الله أكبر. بحول الله وقوته أقوم وأقعد. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين. إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين. اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. والعصر إن الإنسان لفي خسر إلا الذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات وتواصوا بالحق وتواصوا بالصبر. الله أكبر. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. اللهم بحق فاطمة وأبيها وبعلها وبنيها والسر المستودع فيها صل على محمد وآل محمد وافعل بنا ما أنت أهله ولا تفعل بنا ما نحن أهله يا أهل التقوى والمغفرة يا أرحم الراحمين. الله. سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان ربي العظيم وبحمده. سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. سبحان ربي الأعلى وبحمد ربي صلى على محمد وآل محمد. الله أكبر. استغفر الله ربي وأتوب إليه. الله أكبر. سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان ربي الأعلى وبحمد ربي صلى على محمد وآل محمد. الله أكبر. الحمد لله. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد بحول الله وقوته. الله أكبر. سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان ربي العظيم وبحمد ربي صلى على محمد وآل محمد. سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان ربي الأعلى وبحمده. الله أكبر. استغفر الله ربي وأتوب إليه. الله أكبر. سبحان ربي الأعلى وبحمد ربي صلى على محمد وآل محمد. الله أكبر. بحول الله وقوته. الله أكبر. سبحان ربي العظيم وبحمده سبحان ربي العظيم وبحمده سبحان ربي العظيم وبحمده. سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. سبحان ربي الأعلى وبحمد. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. الله أكبر. استغفر الله ربي وأتوب إليه. الله أكبر. سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان ربي الأعلى وبحمد ربي صل على محمد وآل محمد وافعل بنا ما أنت أهل ولا تفعل بنا ما نحن أهل يا أهل التقوى والمغفرة يا أرحم الراحمين. الله أكبر. الحمد لله. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. السلام عليك أيها النبي ورحمة الله وبركاته. السلام علينا وعلى عباد الله الصالحين. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر.
mic for the salam, please.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. السلام عليك يا رسول الله، السلام عليك يا أمير المؤمنين، السلام عليك يا فاطمة الزهراء سيدة نساء العالمين، السلام عليك يا حسن المجتبى، السلام عليك يا أبا عبد الله الحسين، وعلى 9 المعصومين من ذريتك علي بن الحسين ومحمد بن علي وجعفر بن محمد وموسى بن جعفر وعلي بن موسى ومحمد بن علي وعلي بن محمد والحسن بن علي. السلام عليك يا مولاي يا صاحب العصر والزمان، السلام عليك يا خليفة الرحمن، عجل الله تعالى فرجك وسهل الله تعالى مخرجك وظهورك ورحمة الله وبركاته.